Managing muscle damage and recovery and striking that perfect balance between effort and ease is one of the most difficult things for us guys to do when it comes to our training. We know how important recovery is when it comes to building muscle and building our bodies, yet whenever we try to prioritize recovery, we end up experiencing this fear of missing out. We get in our heads and have feelings that we could be doing more and we should be doing more, even though it's not in our body's best interest. And we may come across some advice, some general guideline that says that if you want to maximize your muscle gains, you should be performing between 10 and 20 sets per muscle group per week. In those situations, we tend to lean more towards the 20 sets per week because more must be better, even though 10 sets per muscle group per week may suit your body best. We tend to blindly follow these guidelines and put very little effort into developing a heightened sense of awareness as to what our body actually responds best to. And even when we do try to develop this heightened sense of awareness, we may actually think our body's responding really well to a certain protocol and we're recovering well enough, but it's only because we don't have anything to compare it to, any kind of contrast there. And a great example would be the experiences that I've gone through throughout my training career. Like right now, when I walk into the gym, I walk into the gym feeling invigorated, enthusiastic. I am full of energy, and throughout my training session, I am feeling strong. My joints feel great, and I walk out of that gym feeling a huge sense of accomplishment and invigorated. I still feel somewhat fresh, even though I gave my absolute best focused effort and attention to every single set that I performed. And because I am feeling so great during my training sessions, I now have something to contrast to how I used to train and how I used to feel with my training in the past, which I thought at that time in those moments was best for me. I thought I was recovering incredibly well. I thought it was exactly what my body needed in order to grow. And I was growing. I was making progress. But could there have been a better way? We'll never know. But when I look back 10 years ago and all those years prior to that, I was weight training 6 days per week. My training sessions were roughly 90 minutes most of the time, sometimes closer to 75 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer than 90 minutes. Part of it was I loved being in the gym. I loved the camaraderie. I had 3 workout partners who I loved training with. It was part of our social outing as well. And again, I thought I was recovering really well. But when I'm reflecting back on how I felt during those times, I was sore all the time. There's always a body part that was sore. I would never train a muscle group when it was still sore from a previous workout, but I was always experiencing some form of muscle soreness and wearing that soreness with a badge of honor, like leg day, throwing the handicap sticker on the dashboard of my car saying, I can't walk today or can't sit on the toilet, like wearing that kind of soreness with a badge of honor, thinking that's what I needed in order to grow. And that feeling that if I walked out of the gym feeling beat down, like that's what I needed in order to experience a great workout. Like back in the day, back then, 10 years ago, and plus back then, if I had left the gym feeling the way I am right now, I'd walk out feeling, man, I still have more in me. I probably didn't give enough. I should have done more. It's always like more mentality, even though that may not be best. Our focus is solely on breaking ourselves down, but not building ourselves back up. Eventually, I switched to 5 days per week. And when I made that switch, I was like, this is better. Not only do I feel my body feel a little bit better, I'm recovering better. Now I have time to do other activities that bring great joy in my life. And then 2.5 years ago, I dropped it down to 4 days per week when I started incorporating yoga into my lifestyle. And then eventually I dropped it down to 3 days a week of weight training and doing yoga 6 to 7 days per week. Some of those yoga practices are very challenging, to say the least. A lot of inversions, handstand practice, hand balancing poses, a lot of athletic movements, calisthenic-based movements that are very demanding on the body. So I was loving it. It's kind of like I was still training, still doing weight-bearing resistance exercise with that type of yoga practice there. but eventually realizing that, you know what, I should probably start incorporating some more ease into my lifestyle when it comes to the yoga practice. So I cut some of the more hardcore yoga practices, the more athletic, powerful poses there, and incorporating more yin-based practices where you're holding the stretches, melting into those poses, relaxing, calming your mind and your body as you ease yourself into those stretches there, into those poses, doing that 2 to 3 times per week. And only doing the hand balancing, the inversions, those kinds of intense workouts on that, especially at the shoulders there, the arms, sticking with that twice a week, and then 3 times per week doing more of a flow-based workout. Once I started striking that balance with the yoga practice with 3, sometimes 4 days per week of weight training, that's where I found, all right, my body is moving its best. It's feeling its best. I go into every single session, whether it's a weight training session, whether it's a yoga session, whether it's jogging. I'm jogging 3 times per week. Now I'm striking a great balance with everything I'm doing. And with everything I'm doing, I always feel fresh. I always feel like I've got everything I can put into this training session. Whereas when I reflect back, when I was doing 6 days per week, 5 days per week of training in the gym for 75, 90 minutes, sometimes a little bit more, I would go into those training sessions, like even though that muscle group wasn't sore anymore, there's always other muscle groups that were sore. And I just felt that I wasn't able to give the best of myself to it. Even though I was still making some progress in the gym, I wasn't able to give the same level of effort, enthusiasm, focused attention to every single set I was performing because I was tapped. I was experiencing the accumulated fatigue that comes from training so often. Even though I was taking deloads in there, structured deloads were all planned in there, vacation times were all planned in there, so weeks off in there. It was still, when you're training that often and your training sessions are a lot long, where you're doing that many sets per muscle group per week, there's accumulated fatigue that takes place. Joints felt achy from time to time. But at the time, I felt good. Like this is the way it's supposed to feel. I'm supposed to be sore. I'm supposed to have some aches here, little niggles here and there. It's all part of the game to building your best body. And no, it does not have to be that way. And I discovered that even my first bodybuilding competition. I was following that, working out 6 days per week, weight training 90 minutes at a time, 6 days per week. I was doing cardio, stair climber after my weight training sessions. I was also at a point waking up at 4 in the morning to get to the gym early to do another stair climbing session there. So cardio twice per day. Recognizing that at the end of it, yes, I achieved my fat loss goal, but damn, did it ever beat me down. So I learned my lesson from that sleep was most important to me rather than getting up early and doing that second cardio session, and just managing the stress that my body was accumulating from the dieting and from the training and all that. So I learned that for future competitions, future photo shoots. So again, it really comes down to experience. It's really, I can't provide you with the exact blueprint for how many days per week you should be training, how many sets you should be doing. We're all different. And not only are we built different, our lifestyles are different and our sleep schedules are different. Of course, I think that should be your number one top priority, is focusing on getting an adequate amount of quality sleep each and every night. Managing your stress is right up there. Fueling your body with nutrient-rich foods that are going to help you recover, fuel your workouts. All those stuff are important. Mindset, focusing on improving upon your mind, calming your mind, is a huge component of this as well. But yeah, we are all different. We're all going through different life experiences, and it's very difficult to know this, which is why it's so important to have that heightened sense of awareness and know that it can evolve over time as you evolve, as your lifestyle evolves. Right now, I'm incorporating way more activities into my overall life than ever before, between the weight training, the yoga, the jogging, getting out for hikes, paddleboarding, dance now, play hockey. Like, I do a lot of different activities. I just want to live my life to the fullest. But really, in the big picture, when it focused on the weight training itself, recognizing that there was a lot of overkill. I was doing way more than I needed to do in order to build my best body. Again, will I ever know if I would have grew more by doing less back then? I'll never know that for certain. I sure wish I could draw that comparison there, but unfortunately, we can't do that. We just have to take what we learned from our past experiences and carry them forward. But it all comes down to the heightened sense of awareness, having an open mind and a willingness to try different splits, try training different numbers per week, incorporating different activities, maybe incorporating more mobility, flexibility work, stuff that's going to help your body move more, striking that balance between like utilizing some calisthenic movements where you can develop a little bit more functional strength, joint stability, those kinds of things. There's so much that goes into it. And I find in our earlier stages of trying to build our best bodies and weight training there, we're just solely focused on what goes on in the gym. And we don't focus enough on what happens outside of the gym, and not only our recovery, but what truly allows us to move our best and feel our best and really thrive in all aspects of life. So really encourage you to develop that heightened sense of awareness. I would love to hear from you down in the comment section below. Have yourself an amazing day.